In this video, I will show you how to request the download links for the CSDS portfolio and the installation process. To begin, you will need your license details, specifically your customer number and 36-digit activation key. This information is typically provided to your site contact. If you do not know who your site contact is, reach out to us at support@ccdc.cam.ac.uk with your institution name, and we will direct you to your site contact. Once you have your license details, you can request download links for the software from our website. Once on our website from the main page, click on the down arrow next to Support and Resources and click on CSCS Downloads. This will take you to a page with the form where you can request the software. Enter your information here, and once you're ready, click Request. Once information has been verified, you will see a notification that a download link has been emailed to you. You should receive an email with a list of download links. The majority of the CSDS portfolio functionality, such as the data, conquest, Mercury, and gold, is contained in the CSDS download, which is shown here as CSDS version and operating system. So for example, if you're installing on a Windows machine, you want to click on CSDS 2022.1 Windows. Clicking on this link should start the download process. You can check our FAQ section for more information if you encounter any issues with the download. The installer is large, approximately 10 gigabytes, and might take some time to download, so patience is key here. We also recommend having a strong internet connection and to use a browser that allows you to resume download if the download does get interrupted. Once the installer is downloaded completely, you're now ready to start the installation process. Double-click on the downloaded installer zipped folder, which should be CSCS 2022.1.0 Windows installer.zip. We recommend using an application such as 7-zip to unzip the folder. Select where you want the installer to be placed, for example, in your Downloads folder or on your desktop. Locate the folder where you have placed the installer and double-click on the extracted folder. Within the installer folder, you should see an executable, csds-windows.exe, and a dist file. You want to double-click on the executable, and you would get a notification if you want to allow this application to make changes to your device. Select Yes, and this should bring up the installation wizard. From here, you can just follow the wizard to begin the installation process. So from the setup, click Next. And here is some information on what would be installed with this installer. There's also a note of how much space is required for the full database and software to be installed. You click Next, you will reach the license agreement page. Accept and click Next. There is also information on all the supported platforms for our software. Here you can choose where you want the software to be installed. The default is usually in your program files folder, and a CCDC folder will be created. if one does not already exist. You can select the components that you want to install here. You can choose to install both the software and the database, or you can choose to install just the data or just the software. For advanced installation techniques, consult the installation and release notes that is included in the links that you were sent. You can choose to associate different files with certain tools. For example, if you want any CIF to be opened by Mercury, you can select that here and click Next. And there's also file associations for Hermes and Gold. You can choose to activate the software during installation, or if you've set up a local license server, you can select that here. And you can also choose to activate the software later on using the CCDC activation tool. If you choose to activate during installation, click Next, and you will enter your 36-digit activation key here. There is also an option to activate for all users on a system if there will be multiple users on a machine, or you could just activate for yourself. You'll want to choose Activate Now, enter your 36-character activation key, then follow the directions on the screen. There is also an option to activate telemetry. The telemetry information that we collect are diagnostic data on which CSD applications and features are being used. None of your personal information would be transmitted to us. You can also decide to activate telemetry for all users or to deactivate for all users. And once you're through with those selections, you can click Next and the installation will begin. If there are no error messages, your installation was successful. You will reach this page where you can register for a monthly newsletter on our website. And you can click Finish, and you are now ready to use the software. The installation process is similar for Windows and Mac OS, but there are additional steps required for installing on a Linux machine. Do consult our FAQ page for the versions of Linux that are supported. Similarly to the Windows installation process, once you have downloaded the Linux installer, first thing to do is to extract this installer from the zipped folder. You can do this from a command line, or you can use a file manager. Select the folder where you want the installer to be placed. This could be in your downloads or on the desktop. I've selected the downloads folder here. Once the extraction is complete, you want to open a terminal and navigate to the folder where you have placed the installer. Navigate into the folder that has just been unzipped, and you should see the installer and the dist file. The first thing you want to do here is to change the permissions for the installer to ensure that it is now an executable. To do that, you will use this command. And click enter. And now if you check, you will see that the CSCS installer is now green, which means this is now an executable you can use. To run the installer, type // and CSCS -linux -x64.run and press enter, and you should be presented with an installation screen. And you can follow along as you did on a Windows machine.